throws a tantrum, and a little clay thing is purchased at an arts festival. And now an eerily perfect recap of this week's news. The Catholic Church reversed its long-held stance against gay marriage this week after meeting Connecticut couple Tony and Craig. The vacationing pair dazzled the Pope and assorted clergy with their witty conversation and true loving affection for each other, leading Vatican officials to conclude that love is love and it's silly to put restrictions on it in this day and age. The Chinese people announced that they would be willing to forgive most of the United States' $1.16 trillion debt if Americans agreed to dress up in costumes and perform silly dances for them. Chinese officials encouraged U.S. citizens to wear sequined vests and prance around while slapping their big fat American tummies, promising that the more humiliating the performance, the more debt will be erased. In sports, NASCAR fans are deeply puzzled by a mysterious black family seen attending multiple races.
This is the Onion News Network.
Don't miss a moment of Free Talk Live. Get our archives daily via our podcast at feeds.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. That's the phone number for you to call to bring up whatever's on your mind. That number is 603-283-6160, and it's Free Talk Live, so you can bring up whatever's on your mind. And right now I need to log into that in order to do it. I think I might be able to just answer this call. So with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
And the most professional radio co-host, Richie Rich.
Hey. Anyways.
That wasn't a shot at you. That was a shot at the three knuckleheads on last night.
Oh, that's mean. Why were
they started?
They weren't being professional?
No, they said that the Free Talk Live doesn't have any professional hosts.
Oh, well, that's definitely what Penguin was saying, and I thought that was almost kind of mean, and I did think of you, literally.
Appreciate that.
Colin asked me who's on the show tonight, and I said Richie Rich, and he's like, oh, is that going to be okay, just you two? And I was like, yeah, Richie Rich is like the easiest person to do the show with if I had to be alone with someone.
The most professional.
So, we do have a caller on the line. Let's just go right to the unscreened callers. Unscreened caller, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, it's Ridley.
Hey, Ridley. What's on your mind, Dave Ridley?
So, have you guys heard about this? There's an article in the Union Leader. Apparently, a lady is suing. She's suing the Kearsarge School Board because they refused to let her continue. I guess they silenced her and threatened to call police on her based on her comments. I guess must have been during public comment.
I saw the headline. Is this the this isn't the state rep that was silenced, is it?
I don't know if she's a state rep or not. Her name is Beth. It looks like Scar or Scare.
No, she's not a state rep.
I'm not sure exactly how she pronounced it. Middle-aged lady. Well, she looks middle-aged to me, but since I'm getting old, I guess maybe I should say old. But I guess she filed it looks like a federal lawsuit. She said there's a claim that she was, quote, silenced and threatened with police intervention, unquote, after referring to a transgender athlete on a girls' soccer team as a tall boy, unquote.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Oh, well, it's not currently in vogue.
Depends what state you live in.
I guess.
If you live in a blue state, that's a girl. If you live in a red state, that's a boy.
I don't know. I kind of tend to think that it's school, so they shouldn't be, forcing something on an older woman, like calling somebody that to her is a boy, a girl, like forcing her to do that, just to have a conversation when it's pertinent, especially.
Yep.
I bet the kid wasn't in the school.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I bet the kid wasn't in the room at this.
At the hearing? No, it's a. Why would they be? It's one of those there. Town hall hearings.
Because a lot of times people like to claim, oh, that's bullying or something, but that can't be bullying.
Yeah. I guess it's attorneys from this thing called the Institute for Free Speech, which I have not heard of, but it exists, I guess. And I just have this first part of the article here. I had to take a screenshot of it. I couldn't make a normal copy of it, so I don't know all the other details.
And this happened where?
Well, they call it, quote, New London-based Kearsarge School Board meeting.
So it's New London, New Hampshire, but
okay.
Yeah, I don't know why it's called Kearsarge School. I've been hearing so much about it because they had a trans, like, boy to girl kid playing in the soccer teams, maybe it was, so they keep getting in the news and stuff like that. Beth also is the one who the town of Nashua allowed there to be this thing where any resident of Nashua could choose the next flag that went up. It was like every month there'd be a flag.
Okay.
And they had like their Nashua maybe or their New Hampshire flag, but they were letting people put up flags, and somebody put up like the pride flag. Like, so that was like an example of something that went up. But she put the Pine Tree Riot flag. Okay. Or requested it or whatever. And they denied it and gave her the reasoning that it was like divisive or something like that. So people went out there, including me and Zephin, who's also on the show. Okay. It hasn't been in a while. And we flew Pine Tree Riot flags and got the attention of, oh man, I forget what they're called. A free speech advocacy group. And I'm pretty sure Beth won her case. I just don't remember now if she won. But either way.
I am generally a trans ally on most things, excluding sports. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, there's, in my opinion, women's sports exists primarily because women can't compete at the same level as men in most sports.
Yeah, I just don't care about sports so hard that I literally didn't care at all. But one thing about it is that women started getting actually injured. Like, there's a girl that was actually like harmed, like beyond repair, like paralyzed.
Yeah, but that happens to guys in guy sports.
Yeah,
right? Like, that's, you know,
that doesn't normally happen to girls in volleyball because someone spiked volleyball.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. But but you could have a strong girl, right? Like, especially at lower levels, right? For a long time, my niece was a giant compared to her peers, and she played volleyball, and she had to play like in the age group that she was in, and she was literally like a foot taller and probably 50 pounds heavier than everybody else on the court, and just dominated, you know, at the time. So, and female, right?
Yeah,
not
but
trans
did she injure
at all.
Anybody?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I
would love to know, like, how often that happens.
But she was strong enough where at that age group, she could have injured people as a female, you know, attacking other females just because of the size differential at the time. You know, obviously, you know, hormones and age caught up, and she's no longer the giant.
I mean, if she played and she didn't injure people, I don't know if I just want to accept that as truth, you know?
Okay. I'm just saying that you can have size differentials in sports and still be the same gender.
It's not about height or something. It's about your body is capable of firing the ball harder and faster.
Yes. And what I'm saying at age 12 and age 10 or whatever, age 10 to 12, she was more capable than the other 10 to 12-year-olds. Because of her physicals. No, I guarantee it. I promise you.
But you're not saying that you remember she actually paralyzed someone.
She didn't I know she didn't paralyze anybody.
That's why I just don't know if that's really like you can't use that one, you know?
Well, what I'm saying is it had nothing to do with gender. Right? She was just bigger. And so if you're just bigger and stronger, then the potential exists whether or not it actually comes to fruition. Right? Like there was oh man, like it was some lacrosse thing or someone got hit with like a lacrosse ball in the back of the head and died at age 16 or whatever. And I forget if it was a male or female, right? But the you know, injuries happen in sports, and that's part of the deal. So I don't think that if my daughter got paralyzed from a boy spiking a thing, I would just agree like, oh, it could have happened exactly the same if Cindy hit her with a spike. I just don't think I'd agree. Yeah, but if Cindy was bigger and stronger than all the other females,
then there might actually be a problem there too. Like my sister's boyfriend, he's so tall. He's like, I guess he's Blackfoot native. Maybe that's why he's tall. Maybe he's not that, but he's super tall. And he said that when he was in middle school, they didn't let him play on the football team because he was too much bigger than the other kids. The other boys, not the other, So if a boy hurt another boy because he was just that much taller in that school, they probably would have been able to do something about it,
Maybe. But if they're playing another school, you'd want that kid on your team.
Yeah, but not if he was actually literally injuring people.
Again, there's, if people are equal, they're not free. And if they're free, they're not equal. You can't discriminate just based on size and strength.
No, you absolutely can. That's my whole point. You should be able to discriminate based on this person is dangerously large. Like my sister's boyfriend, it's not like he's like, oh, I am just like torn up to this day about it, Probably just went and did like other things like with his grandpa or whatever.
Well,
there are other things to do other than sports, trust me.
When it comes to sports, I say that's a weak position then. Because if you're big enough and strong enough to dominate, you should.
But there's a difference between just like doing well and harming people.
Well, it depends if it's a contact sport, man. Like doing well in football is harming people. Like you hit people pretty darn hard, right?
Yeah, but there's an amount of harm that's
and
like
hockey.
You basically sign up for that, and there's an amount of harm that's like being paralyzed. That doesn't happen common enough that people are like, that just happens during football. Everybody gets paralyzed during football.
Everyone doesn't get paralyzed, but people do get paralyzed playing football. That is not an uncommon thing.
I don't know that it's common enough that it's exactly the same if a 6-foot-tall boy hits you and you get paralyzed. It's just like, that happened last week. Cindy did that to Jennifer.
Again, not a weekly event, but there's enough paralysis in football where it is an issue.
Now we're talking about something that's like we need stats in front of us. You're definitely pulling an Arya where Arya is like, well, whatever I say is probably statistically correct, and whatever you say is probably not. Like neither of us have stats in front of us, but I've never met someone who's been like, anyone in my family has been paralyzed playing girl-on-girl volleyball, but yet there is this girl 2 years ago got paralyzed because a boy spiked a ball and hit her in the head so hard she's knocked out on the ground. I said knocked up on the ground. Knocked out on the ground, and now she's paralyzed for life. Right. And it's just like, I don't think that would have happened if that boy wasn't playing volleyball with girls.
That might be true, but that you can't discriminate against other females.
I think I absolutely can and would if I owned a sports team, but the thing
you would stop a dominant female volleyball player from playing just because she's so much better than the rest?
No, not because she's so much better, but because she was so much bigger, especially if it was an age thing. Like the 12-year-olds who most of them have, maybe 12 isn't the right age, but like the 11-year-olds, maybe most of them haven't hit puberty, and maybe one girl just like hit it super early.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind saying, that's going to be an unsafe situation for 90% of my people, but not this one. Like, oh, sorry, you just don't get to play sports. It's not the end of the freaking world. Go do ballet, I
mean, if you were running the sports organization, that's fine, but I think most sports organizations would want that girl to play.
Well,
and dominate.
I have an actual story of it happening the opposite way, and you are just saying you think somebody would want it that way. I don't think most of the parents would want it that way.
But they have the option to take their kid out. It works both ways.